He started out making tractors, but an unexpected rivalry led him to challenge one of motorsport's greatest legends. How did Ferruccio Lamborghini turn a conflict with Enzo Ferrari into creating a brand that redefined supercars? Discover the fascinating story of how a dream fueled by determination and revenge gave rise to one of the greatest icons in the automotive world. But first, if you want more incredible stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a like. This way, you don't miss any episode about the greatest legends and deeds that marked history. Let's explore the extraordinary together. Ferruccio Lamborghini was born on April 28, 1916, in Renazzo di Cento, a small village in the Emilia-Romagna region, Italy. Son of farmers, Ferruccio grew up amid the difficulties and simplicity of rural life. From a young age, he demonstrated a special talent for mechanics. While other boys his age were more interested in playing, Ferruccio spent hours dismantling and repairing agricultural machinery, showing an interest that would soon define his life. After completing his technical studies in mechanics in the city of Bologna, Ferruccio began working with engines and equipment. However, the true test of his abilities came during the Second World War, when he was recruited by the Italian Air Force. There he worked as a mechanic, repairing military vehicles and planes, often in extreme conditions, with a shortage of parts and resources. This experience not only deepened his technical understanding, but also strengthened his ability to improvise and find creative solutions to complex problems. With the end of the war in 1945, Ferruccio returned home to a devastated country. Italy was rebuilding, and the agricultural sector was vital to economic recovery. Sensing an opportunity, Ferruccio began transforming surplus military vehicles into tractors to meet the growing demand for agricultural equipment. This simple but visionary idea was the starting point for his venture into the business world. In 1948, Ferruccio founded Lamborghini Trattori. From the beginning, he stood out not only for the quality of his tractors, but also for their efficiency and durability. He implemented technical innovations that made them superior to competing products, quickly conquering the Italian agricultural market. Within a few years, Ferruccio Lamborghini became a successful businessman, with a growing fortune that allowed him to expand his interests and ambitions. With success came luxuries. Ferruccio began to invest in a life that reflected his status as one of Italy's great industrialists. One of his greatest passions was motorsport. He began buying high-performance cars, collecting iconic models from brands such as Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and Ferrari. But Ferruccio was not just an enthusiast. He was a man who understood engineering. Often, when purchasing a car, he would disassemble and analyze the engine, looking for ways to improve its performance. For Ferruccio, perfection was an obsession. But this passion for motorsport also brought frustrations. Among the cars he owned, Ferruccio was particularly critical of Ferraris. He loved the performance and design of cars, but he often found defects that bothered him deeply. Recurrent mechanical problems and uncomfortable interiors irritated someone who, like him, valued both functionality and luxury. Ferruccio believed that with his engineering experience and his business acumen, he could create a better car. This thought, however, was still just a dream. Ferruccio was at the height of his career as a tractor manufacturer, and there was no indication that he would leave that industry. But ambition, combined with his dissatisfaction with the cars available on the market, began to plant the seeds of an idea that, sooner or later, would change the automotive industry forever. The man who started out building machines for the countryside was about to transform the way the world viewed sports cars. Ferruccio Lamborghini, already established as a successful industrialist and passionate sports car enthusiast, began to face an issue that would change his trajectory forever. Among the many vehicles in his collection, he had a special admiration for Ferrari models. However, as an experienced engineer and perfectionist, he could not ignore the fact that the cars had defects that, in his view, should not be present in high-performance vehicles with such a high price. One of the problems that bothered him most was related to the clutch. Ferruccio, who knew mechanics in depth, realized that the defective component used in his Ferrari was the same one he used in Lamborghini tractors. He was outraged that a luxury car like the Ferrari could use parts that, in his view, were designed for agricultural machinery. Determined to resolve the situation, Ferruccio took a bold step. He directly sought out Enzo Ferrari, founder and owner of the brand. Ferruccio was a direct man, and when he met Enzo Ferrari, he was sincere. He pointed out the problems he had identified in the cars and suggested improvements, especially in the clutch system. Enzo, known for his strong temper and unshakable self-confidence, did not take the criticism well. Instead of listening to Ferruccio's suggestions, he responded arrogantly, saying something that would be immortalized in history. "A tractor manufacturer has nothing to teach Ferrari about sports cars." This response deeply hurt Ferruccio Lamborghini's pride. He was a man used to being respected, especially in technical matters. For him, that statement was not only a personal insult, but also a demonstration of disrespect for the innovative capacity he knew he possessed. The humiliation suffered at the hands of Enzo Ferrari lit a flame that would transform his indignation into determination. After the confrontation, Ferruccio did not return home defeated. On the contrary, he made an audacious decision. If Ferrari was not willing to improve its cars, he would create the perfect car himself. A car that combined impeccable performance, mechanical reliability, and unparalleled luxury. He not only wanted to build a car to rival Ferrari, I wanted to create something that surpassed everything Enzo Ferrari had ever done. Ferruccio's decision seemed, at first glance, like a leap in the dark. Until that point, he had no direct experience in manufacturing sports cars. However, he knew that to build something revolutionary, he would need to surround himself with the best engineers and designers in the industry. For Ferruccio, the challenge was not just technical or financial, it was a matter of honor. He was determined to prove that the tractor maker could redefine what it meant to create a true sports car. And so, a rivalry that had begun as a simple conflict of egos was about to give rise to a brand that would go down in the history of the automobile industry. Lamborghini would not be born from a common business vision, but from a personal vendetta, a response to the arrogance that underestimated the talent and ambition of a man with a bigger dream. After the clash with Enzo Ferrari, Ferruccio Lamborghini returned to his home in Sant'Agata Bolognese with a bold plan. He didn't just want to build a sports car, he wanted to challenge the status quo, redefine the market, and prove that it was possible to create something that surpassed the standards set by brands like Ferrari. So in 1963, he founded Automobili Lamborghini, a new division of his growing industrial enterprise. Sant'Agata Bolognese, until then a quiet town in northern Italy, was chosen as the headquarters of the new factory. Ferruccio invested heavily in building a modern facility with the aim of producing cars that combined cutting-edge technology, innovative design, and quality craftsmanship. Unlike common practices at the time, he believed that the work environment should reflect the excellence of the products that would be created there. Thus, the factory was designed to be efficient, clean, and organized, something rare in the automotive industry at the time. With the groundwork ready, Ferruccio began the recruitment process. He knew that to turn his vision into reality, he would need to rely on the brightest minds in the automotive industry. It was then that he hired two of the greatest talents in the sector, engineer Giotto Bizzarini, who had previously worked on the development of Ferrari's legendary V12 engine, and young designers Gianpaolo Dallara and Franco Scaglione, known for their creativity and boldness. Automobili Lamborghini's first major project was the 350 GTV, a prototype that represented Ferruccio's initial vision. Powered by a V12 engine developed by Bizzarini, the car was an impressive combination of power and sophistication. However, Ferruccio himself was not completely satisfied with the final result. He believed that the car, although technically advanced, needed adjustments to become the perfect vehicle he envisioned. This quest for perfection led to the launch of the 350 GT in 1964, Lamborghini's first official model. This car not only met Ferruccio's expectations, but also exceeded them. It combined an elegant and bold design with exceptional performance, immediately capturing the attention of the public and specialized critics. Unlike Ferrari's cars, known for being more aggressive and track-oriented, the 350 GT offered an ideal balance between luxury, comfort and power, exactly what Ferruccio wanted. The initial success of the 350 GT established Lamborghini as a new force in the luxury automobile industry. Despite initial criticism that a tractor manufacturer could not compete in the supercar market, Ferruccio showed that it was possible to build something extraordinary when vision, innovation, and determination were combined. The dream that was born from a personal offense now began to take shape, and the automotive world would never be the same again. But for Ferruccio, this was just the beginning. He wasn't just interested in competing. He wanted to redefine what it meant to build a sports car, and in the years to come, his company would continue to break barriers, creating models that would become legends. With the initial success of the 350 GTV prototype, Ferruccio Lamborghini wasted no time in tweaking and perfecting his concept to create the company's first production car. Thus was born the Lamborghini 350 GT, a model that would redefine the luxury sports car market and officially mark Lamborghini's entry onto the global automotive scene. Developing the 350 GT was a challenging task, but Ferruccio knew he could only earn the respect of the industry if he delivered something flawless. To achieve this, he relied on the genius of Giotto Bizzarini, responsible for developing the V12 engine. This mechanical masterpiece was incredibly advanced for its time, a 3.5-liter engine that delivered 280 horsepower. But Ferruccio wanted something more. He required the engine to be tuned to offer not only power but also reliability and smoothness, characteristics that were often lacking in its competitors such as Ferrari models. Alongside the engine, the 350 GT's chassis was also a work of art. Designed by Gianpaolo Dallara and Franco Scaglione, the car featured a light and rigid structure, ensuring precise driving and superior performance. The bodywork was designed and built by Carrozzeria Touring, a renowned Italian design company. The result was a car that not only impressed with its performance, but also with its elegant, aerodynamic design, with smooth lines that exuded exclusivity. When the Lamborghini 350 GT was introduced to the public in 1964, it quickly won the admiration of critics and enthusiasts alike. Unlike Ferrari's aggressive approach, the 350 GT offered a rare balance between luxury and sportiness. The interior was designed for maximum comfort, with high-quality leather, impeccable finishes, and meticulous attention to detail. Ferruccio wanted his customers to have not just a fast car, but a refined and exclusive experience on every trip. The first units of the 350 GT began to be delivered in the same year, and the impact was immediate. Despite being a new brand, Lamborghini demonstrated that it had the ability to compete directly with giants already established in the market. The 350 GT wasn't just a car, it was a manifesto of Ferruccio Lamborghini's vision, proof that he could build something that not only equaled but surpassed Ferrari in many ways. Sales of the 350 GT were modest but significant, especially for a company in its early stages. Around 120 units were produced, and each of them became a symbol of the birth of a new era in luxury sports cars. More important than the numbers, however, was the message the 350 GT sent to the world. Ferruccio Lamborghini was here to stay, and his vision of innovation, elegance, and excellence had won him the respect and attention he so desired. The 350 GT was more than a car. It was the basis for Lamborghini's future. He paved the way for even more daring and revolutionary models, which would consolidate the brand as one of the most iconic in the world. For Ferruccio, the success of the 350 GT was not the end point, but just the first chapter in a story of innovation that would continue to surprise the world. With the success of the Lamborghini 350 GT establishing the company's foundation, Ferruccio Lamborghini was far from resting. He knew that, to compete with the giants of the automotive industry and consolidate his brand as a synonym of excellence, something truly revolutionary was needed. This ambition led to the creation of the Lamborghini Miura, a car that not only defined the future of Lamborghini, but also forever redesigned the concept of a supercar. In early 1965, a small group of Lamborghini engineers, Gianpaolo Dallara, Paolo Stanzani and Bob Wallace, began working on a secret project in their spare time. They wanted to create something completely new, a rear mid-engine car inspired by racing cars. When they presented the idea to Ferruccio, he was initially skeptical. Despite his passion for sports cars, Ferruccio was not an advocate of track-oriented vehicles. He believed his cars should be made for roads and for drivers' pleasure. However, the team's boldness and passion convinced him to invest in the project. The prototype chassis was presented at the Turin Motor Show in 1965 and immediately caught the attention of the press and public. Without a finished body yet, the chassis design made it clear that something extraordinary was being created. Positive feedback encouraged Ferruccio to move forward with the project, and he enlisted Bertone's Marcello Gandini to design the bodywork. Gandini delivered a design that was simply stunning. The Lamborghini Miura featured fluid, elegant, and bold lines, combined with revolutionary proportions that defied everything the market had seen before. When the car was finally presented at the Geneva Motor Show in 1966, it stole the show. The Miura wasn't just a car, it was a work of art on wheels. However, the Miura wasn't just beautiful, he was a monster in terms of performance. Equipped with a rear-mounted transverse V12 engine, the car delivered more than 350 horsepower, allowing it to reach speeds in excess of 270 km/h. At the time, it was one of the fastest production cars in the world, and its mid-rear engine became a technical milestone that would be followed by virtually every subsequent supercar. The name Miura was chosen by Ferruccio in honor of a famous lineage of Spanish fighting bulls. This marked the beginning of Lamborghini's tradition of naming its cars with references to the world of bullfighting, something that would become part of the brand's identity. The impact of the Miura was overwhelming. Not only did it cement Lamborghini as a direct competitor to Ferrari, it also redefined what it meant to be a luxury sports car. While other manufacturers focused on functionality or performance, Miura combined these elements with a design that was pure emotion. Despite some initial technical challenges, the Miura was a resounding success. Only 764 units were produced between 1966 and 1973, but its influence was immeasurable. It has become a status symbol, desired by movie stars, musicians, and business people. The Miura wasn't just a car, he was a statement of style, power, and exclusivity. For Ferruccio Lamborghini, the Miura represented more than a technical or commercial triumph. It was the realization of his vision to create something that combined beauty, performance, and innovation. With the Miura, Lamborghini was no longer just a promise. He was a legend in the making. Despite the Miura's resounding success and Lamborghini's steady growth, the following years proved to be a period of ups and downs for the company. Ferruccio Lamborghini's ambition to create perfect and challenging cars brought him global recognition, but it also exposed the company to the financial difficulties and challenges of a highly competitive automotive industry. In the late 1960s, Lamborghini continued to release innovative models. The Miura evolved into more powerful and refined versions, such as the Miura SV, which cemented its status as one of the most iconic supercars in history. However, Ferruccio himself began to realize that maintaining the pace of innovation and competing with established brands such as Ferrari, Maserati, and even new competitors required increasingly greater investments. Furthermore, the 1970s brought a series of global crises that directly affected Lamborghini. The 1973 oil crisis drastically reduced demand for high-performance sports cars, as many countries implemented strict fuel-saving policies. At the same time, the global economic recession hit luxury consumers, further reducing the market for Lamborghini cars. Another challenge was Ferruccio's own business model. Although he was a visionary and a brilliant engineer, he was less inclined to handle the financial and administrative side of the company's rapid growth. Lamborghini faced cash flow problems, and the pressure mounted. Still, Ferruccio remained determined to maintain the quality and innovation that had become the company's hallmarks. During this period, Lamborghini launched the Espada and Jarama, two models that sought to serve a more diverse clientele. These cars were luxurious and practical, but they did not have the same cultural and market impact as the Miura. The company also began work on the Miura's successor, the Lamborghini Countach, which would be introduced in 1974. With its futuristic design and scissor doors, the Countach promised to be Lamborghini's next big milestone, but its development required huge resources, financial, putting even more pressure on the company. Amid these difficulties, Ferruccio made a difficult decision, selling his majority stake in Automobili Lamborghini. In 1974, he moved away from the automotive industry, transferring control of the company to Swiss investors. Ferruccio, who had started his journey as a tractor manufacturer and became an icon of automotive innovation, decided to dedicate himself to his winery and country life, far from the frenetic pace of business. Although Ferruccio's departure marked the end of an era, Lamborghini continued its journey. Under new management, the company would face periods of instability, but would also continue to release models that would solidify its reputation. The Countach, for example, has become one of the most recognizable supercars in the world, helping to keep the flame of Ferruccio's legacy alive. The challenges faced during this era not only tested Lamborghini's resilience, but also showed the lasting impact of Ferruccio's vision. Even in difficult times, the values he embodied, innovation, luxury, and performance, continued to define the brand. And even far from the company, Ferruccio remained the central figure who inspired generations of engineers, designers, and enthusiasts. After the departure of Ferruccio Lamborghini in 1974, the company faced a turbulent period. Ownership changes, financial crises, and economic challenges have tested the brand's limits. However, the essence of Lamborghini, its boldness, innovation, and commitment to luxury, has remained unshakable, evolving to win new generations of admirers. In the years that followed, Lamborghini was acquired by different business groups. Each change brought both challenges and opportunities. During the 1970s and 1980s, despite financial difficulties, the brand continued to produce iconic cars. The Lamborghini Countach, launched in 1974, has become an absolute symbol of supercars. Its futuristic design, with its famous scissor doors and aggressive angular lines, has captured the imagination of enthusiasts around the world. The Countach was more than a car. It was a work of art, a representation of what it meant to dare and challenge limits. Lamborghini has also expanded its cultural influence. During the 1980s, his cars began appearing in films, music videos, and advertising campaigns, solidifying his status as an object of desire. While other brands were concerned with meeting large production volumes, Lamborghini continued to focus on exclusivity, creating cars for those looking for something truly unique. However, financial difficulties persisted. The company went through a series of administrations, including a period under the control of Chrysler Corporation in the 1980s. Under Chrysler's direction, Lamborghini launched the Diablo in 1990, another milestone in the brand's history. With its impressive speed and innovative design, the Diablo continued the legacy of Lamborghini supercars, attracting a new generation of customers. Lamborghini's true rebirth occurred in the late 1990s when Audi AG, part of the Volkswagen Group, acquired the company in 1998. Under Audi's control, Lamborghini found the financial stability and technical support necessary to prosper. The new management maintained the essence of the brand, but also introduced technological innovations that raised quality and performance standards. During this period, Lamborghini launched models such as the Murcielago and Gallardo, which redefined the brand for the 21st century. These cars combined Lamborghini's bold design tradition with Audi's reliability and technological precision. The brand has not only regained its status as an automotive icon, but has also reached new markets around the world, becoming a global symbol of luxury and performance. Today, Lamborghini continues to lead the supercar industry with models like the Aventador, Huracan, and Urus SUV. Each vehicle represents a fusion of tradition and innovation, keeping Ferruccio Lamborghini's vision alive. Their cars aren't just high-performance machines, they are statements of style, power, and exclusivity. More than a brand, Lamborghini has become a symbol of ambition, overcoming, and innovation. The journey that began with a tractor manufacturer in an Italian village has turned into a global legend. Ferruccio Lamborghini's legacy is not only in the cars that bear his name, but also in the philosophy of pushing limits and creating something extraordinary. Ferruccio Lamborghini's journey began with a personal offense, but ended with the creation of a legend. When Ferruccio decided to build sports cars, his initial intention was to prove that he could create something better than Ferrari. However, what he achieved was much more than that. He didn't just compete with Ferrari, he changed the narrative, raising the standards of the luxury automotive industry and marking the Lamborghini name as a symbol of innovation, boldness, and excellence. The clash between Ferruccio and Enzo Ferrari, which seemed like a simple clash of egos, gave rise to a rivalry that shaped the future of supercars. While Ferrari continued to be synonymous with tradition and heritage on the racetrack, Lamborghini chose to follow a different path. She did not seek to compete directly in motorsport, but rather to create cars that were art, power, and exclusivity combined. This differentiated approach gave Lamborghini a unique space in the market, making it not just an alternative to Ferrari, but a brand with its own identity. The rivalry, however, was never one-sided. Although Enzo Ferrari underestimated Ferruccio at first, Lamborghini's rise forced Ferrari to rethink its own limits. Models like the Miura and Countach weren't just cars. They set trends and forced all supercar manufacturers, including Ferrari, to raise their standards. Lamborghini went from being an emerging company to becoming an industry-shaping powerhouse. Even after Ferruccio's departure and periods of financial instability, Lamborghini continued its journey, establishing itself as an unshakable brand. Under the leadership of companies like Audi, Lamborghini has not only survived but thrived, expanding its global presence and cementing its legacy. Each model released after Ferruccio's departure was a reminder of the innovative spirit and determination he embodied. Today, Lamborghini is not just seen as a competitor to Ferrari. It is one of the most iconic brands in the automotive world, with a legacy that transcends the story of its founding. Its cars continue to capture the imagination of people around the world, representing the pinnacle of luxury, performance, and design. The name Lamborghini is synonymous with ambition and achievement, living proof that even one tractor manufacturer can redefine an entire industry. Ferruccio Lamborghini's triumph over his rivalry with Enzo Ferrari lies not just in the cars he created, but in the cultural and historical impact the brand continues to have. From its factory in Sant'Agata Bolognese to the world's most glamorous stages, Lamborghini is more than a car manufacturer. It's a symbol that determination and vision can turn any dream into reality. Ferruccio's legacy is not just a successful company, but an eternal example of how courage and innovation can overcome any shadow, even that of a giant like Enzo Ferrari.